What's going on, guys? I am in my parents' basement. Like a true gamer, this is where I grew up. This is the actual game room that I spent all my childhood playing video games right here. And my friends would come over, we'd set up chairs here, and we'd play them on this counter. And holy crap, lots of memories in here. But that isn't the point of today's video. In fact, today's video may be a little bit controversial because I gotta be real with you guys. I've been thinking a lot about my collection and my collecting of games. If you don't know, live in San Diego and my parents are in Massachusetts here. So a lot of my childhood games are boxed up here, just sitting around and waiting to be brought somewhere else. And every time I take a trip back here, I pick up some more games and I bring them to San Diego and fill them into my house and piss off my wife because we got an endless supply of video games going in to the house in San Diego. And it got me wondering, do I need all these retro game machines in my life? And I'm like, there's a lot of crap. Not gonna lie. Like, I love it. There's tons of memories, tons of fun I had with it. But also, it's like almost unnecessary at this point because of technology advances, because you're able to play so many games on modern consoles. And yeah, some of them are emulated and you can also play them via emulation on your PC and stuff. But for the most part, there are so many different ways to play these games and play them with a better controller. Play them in ways that they never thought you'd be able to play them nowadays. So I'm wondering, do I bother every time I come back to Massachusetts filling up a suitcase with retro games, bringing it out to San Diego and piling it into my house out there? Or am I at the point where I'm like, I have too much stuff at my house. I have too many retro games. I don't have time to play the games that are coming out now. Never mind keep up with the retro games that I have in my backlog that I haven't even played yet. It's a really weird first world problem to have, and I'm really at a loss right now. I don't hate retro. I don't hate playing these old games, but I do feel like modern gaming and the conveniences that they present, especially the Nintendo Switch with its portability options, and eventually if they somehow make the Switch Online service work better with the games, there's not going to be much use for these retro games. And I have my Wii with the Wii Virtual Console and all these games on it. I have my PC with a ton of emulation. And at what point do I need all these retro games just filling up my house? It's to the point of insanity. My house isn't big enough. I wish, my dream would be to have a gigantic room like this at my own house, which I don't have this kind of room in my own house because we don't have basements in San Diego. But if I had this kind of space in my house, then yeah, I'd be all about making the biggest and best game room ever. But the way it's kind of played out right now, I don't have the ability to do that. I have my entire guest room filled up with all these games, like to the brim, pissing my wife off plenty, like I said, and all I'm doing is adding to it without any more space in my house. And the convenience of modern games has made me start to question if I even need these retro games in my life. Am I just chasing the dream of my childhood, or is it something greater? I don't know. I wanted to make this kind of off-the-cuff video because the situation came up and I realized that I might not be the only grown-ass adult dealing with this situation right now. These games are fantastic. This is some of my childhood that will never ever be replaced. I love every single thing that I have in my collection. I've played a lot of this to death. And now when I go to play a game, I look to play it in a more convenient mode. I play it on a portable device that wasn't available back in the day with that kind of technology. I mean, sure, we had Game Boys and Game Gears and even the Game Boy SP where they had better games, But now with the Nintendo Switch, now with the PlayStation Portable, I mean, the consoles that are out now, you're able to do so much more with them that they're almost rendering retro games useless. I don't know. I don't know what to think right now. I feel like my life is kind of falling apart at the seams because I built so much of my childhood and my grown adulthood off of this game collection and all these things that I have piled in here along with everything I have in San Diego. And to what point? Like, do I play these games? Sometimes, but do I play them enough to justify filling my entire house with them? No. It's more just for the comfort to be surrounded by my childhood, to have the memories around me, to know that they're just an arm's length reach away if I ever want to play the game. But do I really ever play the game? No, I don't. If I want to, I load it up on an emulator. I play it on my Switch. I play it on a computer. I don't really play the retro games on their own consoles. It's just too much of a pain in the ass. The way they have to connect to the old school TVs, the way you have to get them all set up. The only one that I'd make an exception for would be some of the more modern retro consoles, like the Nintendo 64 or the PlayStation 1, especially the N64 with the HDMI adapter. That's bringing it to the modern age. But I'm looking back at all these games I have. The Atari, the actual, let's see, what's this one? We got, 3DO. We got, NES, Game Boy, Genesis, Saturn. I mean, you name it, it's here. And I only have so much time in my life. I got a wife and 2 kids, bills to pay, games to play. And honestly, there comes a point where you just got to decide, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with these retro games? What is the reason for collecting? Do you actually play them? Do you just want them on a shelf? And at what point do you stop chasing the dream of filling a house with all these retro games and you just move on and finally embrace the future of gaming? I'm not saying I'm going digital. I don't mean that. I'm just saying I'm leaning towards not selling my games. I just fall towards playing the modern consoles more because of the convenience. That doesn't mean I don't like my retro games. That doesn't mean I'm never going to play them anymore. It just means that I think I'm finally understanding that the future of gaming is in modern consoles. And these companies have already realized it. They've already been selling the games. They've already been selling the idea of your childhood and emulation, especially the eShop, the PlayStation Network, all the games on the PS3 from the PS1 era. Lots of retro games that have been available on modern consoles lately, and it just makes you think, at what point do I stop piling retro games in my house, and why am I chasing this dream? I don't know. I felt like I needed to make a video about this to throw my ideas out there, thoughts on the table, and just let you know what I'm feeling right now, because it's a really weird feeling. I love my retro games, but why? Why do I keep piling them up in my house if I'm not playing them? I love the idea of playing Time Crisis 3 with a buddy with 2 gun cons, which I have. But then I need a CRTV and I need to connect it. Then I need all the wires set up. And it's such a pain in the ass where you could just have a modern game that you can play wirelessly and not worry about all that. Yes, there are great memories with the retro games. Yes, they still hold up fantastically well. But when you consider the amount of games that are coming out right now, every single day, especially on the Nintendo Switch, I can't even keep up with the Nintendo Switch games. Never mind the PS4, never mind PSVR, never mind Xbox One, never mind all these other little consoles that are coming out to compete, and tons of new things on the horizon. It's really hard to try to keep up with modern gaming, even though modern gaming has a slice of retro in it when you are trying to carry your childhood with you everywhere you go. I don't know. I could talk for a while about this, as you could tell, but it's just a really weird conundrum that I'm facing, and I don't know what I'm going to do, if I'm going to pack up more of these, if I'm going to bring my Genesis, Sega CD, 32X, NES, Atari, all these other consoles with me, if it's going to be worth it, or if I'm just going to leave it here and continue gaming at my house in San Diego with all the games that I have there. Because got a CRT here, I got the Atari 2600 right there, got controllers. I mean, like I said, there's game consoles out the wazoo at this house, and there's even more in my house in San Diego. Anyways, I don't know what I'm even doing with this, where I'm going with it, but I figured I'd make the video and just let you guys know. This is me. This is my house where I grew up. This is my game room where I have all my memories, all my childhood hopes, dreams, and tons of time playing retro games right here in this spot. So if you ever wondered, this is where it all happened. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, you stay smashing.